Hello, my name is Doris Benora, and I'm a partner at Dentons Canada and the head of the Wills and Estates group at Dentons. Many people think that they really don't have much to give away when they die. They think that maybe the only thing they have to give away is their debts, which they're pretty sure that nobody wants. But please let me tell you why it is so important to have a will. A will is really a roadmap for your family, and it is much more than just what somebody will get under a will. It provides a complete direction about unwinding someone's life. I would say that the first and most important reason for having a will is to name a personal representative or an executor. The executor or the personal representative is the person who has the power to manage the estate right from the moment of death. The executor is the person who plans the funeral, who deals with all the assets and deals with all of the beneficiaries, and finally distributes the estate, which of course everyone is looking to. The executor is also the person who controls the assets immediately after death. Therefore, you won't have people who simply come in and want to help themselves to the jewelry or to the china or other valuables, because the executor can control that process. If there is no executor, then there is no one to control that process, and there is no one who can manage the assets of the estate until an administrator is appointed by the court, which can take a long time. Another good reason for having a will is naming a guardian for your young children. This person will be the person who takes care of your children, including providing a home for them and making significant decisions about their medical care, their schooling, and their religion. It's a very important role. Of course, in a will, you'll be distributing your property, and it is possible that the law would distribute your property in a similar manner to how you might do it, but you can never be certain of that. It is much more satisfying and better for your family that you would make those decisions on how your property will be distributed. So in terms of distributing your property, it's so important to think about how the property will be given away. If you have children, you may wish to postpone the payment to them or make payments to them over time, so that children are not given a large lump sum which they could spend lavishly and foolishly. We often recommend that parents put money in trust for children and pay that trust over 3 time periods, perhaps with 1/3 paid at 25 years of age, 1/3 paid at 30 years of age, and the balance paid at 35 years of age. This kind of trust for your children will also allow payments to be made for your children's education, weddings, the purchase of a house, or any other needs, including medical needs. Trusts can be created for all kinds of needs in an estate plan. Trusts often solve problems. So trusts can be created for a child who has an addiction problem or mental health problems. Trusts can be created for a second spouse, so the spouse is provided for during their lifetime, and then the balance of the trust can go to the children from the first marriage, so then you can provide for both people that you love. If you have a disabled child, there are special kinds of trusts called a Henson Trust that are very important to be created in order to protect your child's government funding. Another really important factor to deal with in wills is how you give away the personal articles that you own. This would include your art or your jewelry, such as a wedding ring, cars, or other special assets that have special meaning. These are the kinds of items that may have great sentimental value and can cause family disputes. We recommend that you have a system set out in your will that says specifically how these items are going to be distributed. One of the easiest systems is to say that you'll have a list of items and who will get them. And after the items on the list are distributed, then the balance of the items will be distributed to your children or your grandchildren or to your beneficiaries, where they will choose kind of in a snake order from oldest to youngest and then youngest to oldest. And any manner can be chosen, but by stipulating the manner in the will, you've chosen the way personal articles will be distributed, and that should prevent disputes in your family, which we're all hoping for. If someone close to you dies, you will soon learn that every person you deal with, in order to wind up that deceased person's estate, is first going to ask you for a will. It's kind of like your admission ticket. This starts with the funeral home and carries on to banks and insurance companies. and the car salesman and the Canada Revenue Agency. At every stage of dealing with the estate administration, you'll be asked for a will. And when you don't have one, it will involve many, many more steps and much, much more work. It is already an enormous amount of work to be an executor, and therefore, it's important to decrease that work as much as possible. And only you can do that if you have a will for your family to follow.